one bag at noon as well. We've got copies of the book and they've got them at Safeway, and there you get the 15% discount. It's a good read. Okay. Okay, Cheryl, you can introduce.
Hi, welcome everyone. My name is Cheryl Coughlin, and I'm the Executive Director here at the Josephi Center. And one of my favorite exhibits is the women's exhibit. We do it, I think we've done it every year since 2014. And one of the parts about it is there's a little something for everyone in it. We try to do art exhibit. This year we had, I believe, 20 artists. And so we're engaging artists locally as well as regionally. And the best part, and I think it's really kind of become this example of how we are presenting programs here, where we have the art exhibit and then we have accompanying programs so that people that may not have a total interest in art, they may have an interest in the subject matter. And so what I find where we're best successful is trying to engage in different subject matter with the community members so that they can participate and hopefully start a dialogue. So this year, normally we would have a women's concert. This year we did not have one. I know Fish Trap, they do a fireside that's usually associated with what our theme might be. And Rich now is picking a book so that we can have a discussion. And then we also do brown bags with other topics about women's things. And this year's topic happens to be motherhood, which I think we're all affected by motherhood. We may not all have kids, but we do have mothers. And I think in general, the world revolves around women and the power that we wield. So I'm really thankful for Aimee Jungmann taking on the job of curator this year. So we tried to hire someone to curate the show. So basically they go through the selection of art that comes in, and they pick the show, and then they get to hang the show. And if you haven't seen it already, I would highly suggest coming in. We do require masks. Otherwise, if you do not feel safe, I put the link up on the chat. So you can check out each and every picture through that. And I will let Aimee, who thankfully did this position of curating, has been in Wallowa County for quite some time, and she is an amazing artist. I have a painting that I bought of hers, and it's sitting in my living room above my fireplace. I love it, Aimee. So welcome, Aimee. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll let you take it away.
Thank you. Yes, I am Aimee Jungmann. I curated the show that we're here to talk about today.
Oh, I forgot to mention one thing, and that is that the exhibit is sponsored by Seroptimus. Every year, they are part of the women's exhibit. So I'm sorry, Aimee, to interrupt you, but we are very thankful to Seroptimus. They do a wonderful job of displaying their materials here, and we're very thankful for all of their support. Last year, they did a wonderful support for the women's right to vote, our suffrage historical display, which is also still on display here. All right, go ahead, Aimee.
Seroptimus is essential, so yeah, we are grateful to them, absolutely. Well, last fall was when Megan and Cheryl came to me and asked if I was interested in curating their annual women's show. And I was very flattered, as I had not curated a show before. So I do have an education in the arts and have participated in the show as an artist and as an attendee. And, you know, I was really thrilled that I had that opportunity to learn and try it out. And then they told me that the theme was motherhood, and I was really taken aback by such a powerful choice for the theme. And I immediately said next, well, would you like to talk to a curator or an artist who has children, since I do not? And I was worried it would be really inappropriate for me to be in that role. But they said, no, they really didn't want it to be that exclusionary, please think about it. And of course I did think about it, and I'm really grateful. I said yes, between last fall and this past February, before all the work was submitted, I was really kind of just going over and over, writing and thinking and contemplating how big this idea was. And, just so kind of like hung up on the enormity of, the mother as God, the mother as creator, as the everlasting sacrificer, as the earth has just got so overwhelming. And I couldn't seem to break myself out of how incredible this idea that we are going to be focusing on this year was. So, it's difficult for everyone, I think, to contemplate not only their own relationship to their kids or to what they hope motherhood may be someday, or even how big it can be as how they see the earth as their mother, how they see their friends and family in those acts. Honestly, by the time February came around, I was so anxious of how I was going to communicate this in a show, and just so worried how it was going to be. As soon as I sat down to see the work that was submitted, my mind just quieted down completely, and I could just sit and listen and see and hear the ways that these incredible artists chose to run with this. Honestly, I was righteously and generously educated by all the pieces that were accepted into the show. Everyone, as I said before, has their own ideas of what this could be. And I promise, whatever those may be, whatever stage life or what you may have gone through, if you come see the show, your ideas will be expanded. I think they'll be challenged. I think they'll be edified. And I really came away so grateful to the honesty and vulnerability that these women were not only able to express of these really complex ideas, but do them in such a way that was artistically fantastic, compositionally, materials, ideas, the way that it was done just really blew me away completely, which does benefit the whole show. The variety of mediums that we accepted and are on display right now really do encompass all of the ideas expressed together cohesively. Some of the poems that we received were able to express, they were from women that were currently pregnant or recently had given birth, and they were able to express in their poems their own self-awareness and awe-inspiring act that they had done. They were fully self-aware of the power of what they were doing and what they had accomplished. I was really, I loved those pieces. The fabric work that we have on display is just, it exemplified generations of skill, generations of knowledge and experiences that I was really, really grateful for all those, especially considering the historical benefit of women being the predominant fabric creators in Western culture for quite some time. The sculpture, the poem, and dimensional work that were all able to blend the mysticism of the female vessel with the literal form of earth, like where we came from. And they took ideas that you wouldn't think would be able to be combined this well and this complicated. One of the most emotionally impactful pieces was Wendy Reiniger's 3-piece poems about the loss of a child that I would have no way to comprehend, but her brave vulnerability gives you just a sliver of that experience, and that helped me expand my heart and helped me grow as a person. And the lasting to the really zen humor of Nancy Clark's print of Mom's Yoga Helpers. If you have not been able to see, highly recommend. At the end of the show, after we put it up, you know, Megan was like, oh, you know, by the way, we need a judge's choice. And I was just like, oh no, like what, how could you do that to me? But I did eventually end up choosing Andrea Leanne Cavallo's photograph, Postpartum Body Love, because it was so simple, and the direct eye contact with the camera, it really captured what I thought was the most general way of what we were trying to do at the show, which was really show how many different experiences and ideas of motherhood there can be. So overall, I think that I just came away so edified and so honored, and really, yeah, if you have the time to come in and sit quietly and just go back and forth and let yourself have those cycles of thinking I had, but also let yourself get beyond them. And yeah, I just like to thank the Giuseppe for letting me be a part of this, and especially the artists that were able to participate and share with us as a community. But if anyone else has any questions or thoughts on the show, if you have been in and something stuck out to you, we can absolutely open it up and talk about it. But that was just my experience as curator of the show.
Thank you, Amy. There are a couple of people on here who actually have pieces in the show, so they might want to say something. I know Eileen is here. And I don't know how many of you have been able to see it or how many of you have gone to the online. We do have it up online now, so you can see the images there. But anyway, Eileen, do you want to say something?
Yeah, a couple of things. First of all, I think the online representation of the show is excellent. You know, the quality of the ways the works come through online it definitely competes with being there in person. So people shouldn't think that they have to put up with, you know, less than ideal, because it's really very powerful to see it online. I appreciate all the work that goes into it. And then as Amy was speaking, the one thing that struck me was her sense of comfort, and that relates very directly to the quilt piece that I did, and the role that the quilt, in its warmth and softness and kindness, and creates an environment for not only a mother and a baby, but everyone who has that irresistible urge to pick up and hold a new baby and wrap the baby in a blanket. And I just heard that not only when you use the word comfort, but when you spoke of your experience of the whole show, there's a very comforting sense, and not only in the fabric medium, but in the other mediums also. I'll stop there and see if someone else has some comments.
Thank you, Eileen. Your piece is beautiful.
Thank you.
Would you mind if I did share the online exhibit just so people can, I can just show them a sampling of it? Do you mind? Amy?
Please do.
I'll just chip in here while Carol's doing that. One of the things that this whole pandemic thing has done is made us at the Josephi Center a lot more sophisticated about how we use our online presence. And we have to thank Seth Kinsey for being our kind of techie guy here. You gotta go.
Well, thanks to the magic of technology, I actually had gone online just as you mentioned it and found the exhibit. It was wonderful.
Make sure I'm
Thank you,
muted,
Pearl.
sorry. Hello. Hold on, just once.
Hey, Pearl, you missed
Um,
my advertisement for our next April 6th. We're going to talk about
Sorry,
the
I'm
Yellow
on
House,
Zoom and I'm
the
sharing the
memoir of
screen.
New Orleans.
Oh, great.
Oh,
I'm
I
just
muted,
reading
okay.
that.
Okay, go ahead, Cheryl.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Hi here. What do you
What's
think?
that
Wanna get
name,
on a
Rich?
Zoom call? Yeah. Oh. You know what? Do you like-
Cheryl, are you going to rotate that? Or do you want to talk about it? Or does Amy want to talk about
Hi, Patrick.
some of the pieces?
Nice to meet you. Hi, Ella
I'm
B.
distracted by a good dog.
Oh, did you get your glasses figured out?
It's
No.
Amy's, it's
Homer.
Cheryl's screen, so she has to
Hold on,
move
let
it.
me just.
But you can see one of them was Nancy's mom's yoga helper at the very
Yeah.
top. But any of them that you want to focus on, they're all worthwhile.
Oh, Old Town might be good. Yeah, they have a big table in the back. This is like now this outside.
Oh, outside, yeah.
Is it cold?
Outside, yeah, we can sit inside.
Either one is fine.
Hey, Cheryl, your mic is muted.
Thank you. Sorry about that. I was just saying that my daughter was here and that's why things kind of got a little jumbled around. But if you increase the size of a picture, it will take you into kind of a slideshow mode. I just sold that piece yesterday.
Oh,
Well, it looks like it only does 3, so because those are 3 sculptures. So let's click on Nancy's. So these are all prints. And I love this print that she did. It does kind of give you the full picture of what motherhood's like. And this is a Renee Fleming print. I don't know if you all know Renee, but her artwork has really taken off in the last couple of years, and she's gotten really into printmaking. You can see her prints at Dog Spot, and I think she's shown her work at Old Town. And I think this is the photograph that Amy selected
it's one of hers. That is also an excellent one. It was a postpartum body love was the one I chose.
Yeah, this is just a great photograph.
It's a great
Um,
photo. Her series, yeah, all three of hers are wonderful.
It's funny, I can't click on, so let's see. See if we can find Eileen's. This is the other photograph that she did. And as a mother, I can tell you that my belly looks just about like that. And I haven't had a child in 16 years, but it's just part of the experience. I love this one.
Yeah, yeah, I do too.
And this one actually, this one's by Jennifer Klimza.
That one's incredible.
Yeah, I love that one. And this one's by a woman named Crystal Newton. She lives here and she's actually going to be teaching some watercolor type workshops. She did a watercolor box class. Anyway, that's a fun one. And then I do not know who did this.
Oh, I have her name right next to me. It was Sue Westfall Quast, if I'm saying last name correctly.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Okay.
That's our oil sticks.
I love that.
Yeah. The
It kind of looks like an African mask.
the shape of the bodies too is the like some of the first like feminine figurines that we've been able to find as humans created, and that is like yeah, so beautiful and so yeah, ideal. Yeah, the feminine body. So really amazing.
Going back to Jennifer's, I think, I mean, this kind of just screams Mother Earth, but anyway.
I think she titled that one Wombs, which is a wonderful to sit with.
Okay, this one is a two-parter. So this, so June Connolly made this. If you can come in and see this, this is ingenious. It's basically like a chocolates. Sorry, I want to talk about this one too, but it's like a chocolate sampler, but it's of motherhood. And she's got each little chocolate labeled. And so you can, it's interactive. So you see this little red piece here. And so you can lift it up and this is what the inside of it looks like. So it's got all, it explains what each part is. And then all of these little sculpture things in here. Anyway, I just thought this was really special.
The way you get to interact with it, yeah, it's sweet to pick them out. And everything.
Yeah. And this one's Eileen, correct?
That's right.
Yay!
Yeah, I wanted to say something about what it's like to participate in a show like this. I've had one-person shows, but I've never been in a show where there were so many different pieces, and I found it terribly fun. But it's so unpredictable, but what it's going to look like, what your piece is going to look like in the context of all the other pieces, because it changes. It's not the same as when I brought them in and gave it to Megan. Just the environment is multifaceted, and that makes it terribly exciting and very, very much fun. Sometimes disappointing, but that's because of my failing in the sense that I have a preconceived idea of what it's going to be like when I bring it in, and I can't do that. You know, I can create to a certain point, but then the creative process gets taken over by the other artists, and that's wonderful. That collaborative, mysterious energy that gets created by bringing all these different pieces together. So.
Absolutely. I think you nailed that. I've also had pieces of my own shown in big, shows like where there's lots and lots of other pieces around it.
Uh-huh.
And I hope that you felt that your piece was given enough space, because I was really thinking about that with how many different mediums we had.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I hope it has its own space in the context of everything else. But you are right; it's always unpredictable how your piece is going to be shown once you've delivered it.
Yeah, yeah.
I do like that as with women's art, and I haven't seen it as much in the past. I mean, I'm not saying that it hasn't been there, but the fabric pieces seem to be really increasing. And I wanted to show, this is Dawn Norman's, and she just takes it to another level. So she she essentially kind of uses the fabric as a collage piece. And I just I feel like I need to own this because it's just so clever.
Mm-hmm.
Little sausages in the oven. And I love the little car as, holding up the toaster. Anyway, I think fabric is a big representation of women. And there's so much to cover when it comes to fabric. I mean, there's knitting, there's sewing, there's tons of fiber arts. And this is Janet Homan's quilt. And this is another one of my favorite pieces. This is about, I would say it's like 5.5 feet by, it's like for a double bed, would that be right? About 5.5 by 8, something like that. But my understanding is that she hand sewed everything. She didn't use a machine at all. And so
it's so complex. This
I
was
love
one
the crossword puzzle.
Yeah. I mean, I think that this is kind of, it's so difficult to capture something this big already, but the varying types of fabric that she has in here and the different patterns are very, very purposeful and playful and interesting.
Mm-hmm. There is so much going on in the world of fiber arts and fabric these days. It has just exploded. It's such an exciting time to be a fabric artist. There's just where it can go is just limitless. It's only limited by your imagination. It's really thrilling to be part of it.
And I know, like for women, they often call this a craft, but it is definitely art. And I think partly because it's a women's artistic craft or artistic medium, that it is called a craft, which I just, I want to elevate women's art, and it's very important that women are represented equally in whatever field, whether it's art or music or directing film or working at the bank or construction worker. And through art, I'm hoping that we can recognize the level of skill that's equal, if not even more superior to our counterparts. So, and this is a lovely piece too.
has a poem that I don't. They go together kind of. I had them shown across each other on a wall. I think this was her poem was "The Woman in You." I'm wondering if this is titled the same, but it's really cool. Really cool to see the detail in it.
Yeah, this is Judy Allen. I don't know if people know Judy, but she's from Joseph. And she does a lot of fabric arts, but she's also partakes in ceramics and other things.
This one struck me so personally. I have a niece with 3 daughters who are all different, and she's having to kind of mother them through their childhood and their adolescence. And this to me is just perfect symmetry between the mother teaching the child.
I agree, yeah.
It's just beautiful.
I love this piece too, but I also, a couple of years ago, I entered the women's art thing with some collages that I do, and I tried to do one for this year's show, but I'm an adoptive mom, and my childhood experiences with my kids were so fraught with angst that every piece I tried to do did not give, like this one where the mother-daughter are in sync. We were not in sync. And so I kept trying. I wondered if it was COVID brain. I mean, I just think to myself, I have wonderful memories of that time of raising these boys, Matt from 13 months, Q from age 6. But when I tried to do an art piece, all the angsty things came out. So I didn't enter this year, but I will again try.
Okay. Well, we'll do another show next year, so you have plenty of
Yes,
time.
I'll work on it
Get
here
yourself
and try to
prepared.
take out the
I don't know what the
the
theme
word
will be.
motherhood. The word motherhood to me is so full. I mean, it's full of a million things. Is this that same lady?
That was, so this is a piece by Sarah Fisher. And it's just lovely, kind of captures.
The lighting contrast is stunning.
Yeah.
it is.
And I'm not sure.
Jane Glesney. She also had the wood.
Right.
pieces.
Okay. Jane Glesney.
Yeah, and her focus on the earth and the tangibility, I thought was really nice.
I'm just going to let this slideshow go because I see there's 3 more pictures.
There's Amy's choice, huh?
And this one's by Adele Schott.
Yep, she has a poem that goes with that one too. That's just really beautiful.
And all the poems are, I think they're up at the top here. Here's a couple of ceramic pieces. That's just one. Okay.
Yeah, that one's a stone too. That one I would recommend seeing in person. The flip side is like a mirror reverse. I don't know. Yeah, really well done.
What are the dimensions on that piece?
About 4 or 5 inches high and about 1.5 inches thick.
Thanks.
And I don't know if we saw this one, but this is Peg.
Oh, yeah.
Lovely.
Another mixed media. Yeah, really cool to see.
Yeah, this is like an old cabinet door. You can see the hinges on the left side. And that's kind of, is it collage and painting, Aimee?
Yeah, it is. I think it's acrylics mostly, but then there are definitely like pasted on aspects to collage style.
Okay. And this is the piece I was saying, I sold this one yesterday. But
It's a crushed turquoise in the middle. If you can't see the gem
yeah,
in it.
it's really a cool piece. And I'm gonna have to give Jane a lecture on, she put a very inexpensive price on it. So the person that bought it just got like a really amazing piece
Screaming
for
deal.
very little money.
Oh, who did that one?
This one?
No, the one that you sold yesterday.
Oh, Jane Glesney. Do you know Jane? She does a lot of photography. She volunteers with the photo club quite a bit. I think she's ahead of it this year. And then she does a lot of volunteering here pre-COVID.
She had several excellent photographs in the show this fall.
Yeah, the photo club
Very good.
show. Yeah, she's very good. And she is one of those Renaissance women. She seems to know how to do everything. Jane, I'm sorry if you're on here and I'm embarrassing you, but I think she can do basketry, photography. I haven't seen any painting, but I've seen, I think she can make drums, all that.
What?
I have one of her brooms here in my living room.
Yeah, she did a broom last year for the women's show, which I thought was awesome because the broom just represents so much when it comes to women, I think.
I was able to give my niece a ritual broom, you know, for slaves. They did jump the broom for the ceremony. And so I gave her this wonderful broom with all these African ornaments on it for her wedding.
Oh,
That's amazing. That's great. I think I've covered almost everything, except for at the very top, these are the poems. So you can go on and you can really, really nicely displayed. So you can take time to read them individually. Some of them are very nicely framed and displayed here in the show.
Were quite unique and really engage with their subject matter too. They're great.
Aimee, I was wondering, when you put the show up, did you have a sense of, just as an artist yourself, liking more abstract work, or is there any kind of, I don't know if I'm asking this correctly, but do you lean more towards abstract art?
I'm gonna turn my.
For my own making, yes. But for viewing,
I can't see.
In my own home, I only have one abstract piece hanging. All the others are of realism and other classical forms. one of the challenges we ran into was displaying the sculptures in a way that I felt gave them enough room to be viewed. I also wanted to keep them in text with the other work so they weren't isolated. But that's something for experienced curator would know how to handle better. But it was very exciting to try and figure out the
We're breaking up terribly.
Aimee, I think you're breaking up. I'm sorry. I tried to turn my video off to help the connection, but
Beautiful poems.
um,
Mm.
Oh. Wow.
Wow.
Mm.
that's a very authentic, painful poem.
Yeah. Mm.
And this poem goes with Adele's photograph.
Mm.
Written pieces were so powerful, and I thought were, yeah, just a great benefit to be a part of the show overall.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can go online if you want to purchase something. You can just hit the cart. There are several pieces that are sold, but I think this print is sold, but there's 6 prints that can be made. I'm gonna stop sharing now, and that way you all can.
You know, as I read those poems and thought about how they interact with the pieces, I got excited about the idea of having that be the theme, having the reflection of the spoken word in the art piece could be amazing. You know.
Definitely. There are a few collage artists in town that do that, like right on top of each other using, cut out words and images layering. But I also, if what you meant to of having words separate and then a piece reflecting on them, I think.
Yeah. I'd like to present that as a possibility in a future show.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have any questions or?
Well, I'm just awed by the exhibit. How fabulous. And also by the technology. I'm sitting down here in the California Central Valley, looking at this fabulous, one of my favorite cultural places.
Well,
Yeah,
like
we
I
have Scott
said,
to thank for
we-
that. Yeah, he did a lot of that.
we do the women's exhibit every March because that's Women's History Month. And I would encourage anyone for next year, be on the lookout for our call to artists. I think we usually put the call out in November. I don't know what next year's theme is going to be. We usually follow the theme of what they choose for Women's Month. So last year we did the right to vote, the 100-year celebration of the right to vote. This year, I don't know what the theme was because we came up with motherhood and we just thought that was like a really good theme. So I hope to see more artwork and I hope to see more fiber arts. The fiber arts are really, and the photography too. Actually, every medium that was on display is really wonderful. Rich, do you want to add anything?
Well, I was just going to say that, yeah, we're open here on a limited basis. We can't have more than 30 people at a time here. And I think because of what we learned with this Zooming, that our brown bags, even when we go back to having them in person, we'll probably do simultaneously try to do something like this so that Pearl can attend from California.
Yeah.
And then just upcoming to tell folks, the next exhibit up is John Marshall's Fire exhibit, Fire Stories, which is photographs, matching photographs from 1930s to the present and showing what, these are photos which were taken in the 1930s with a panoramic camera from fire lookouts throughout Oregon. And so it's really an interesting book, and we're in the process of putting a catalog book together on it as well. And then this summer, and God help me, all of you help me, because we're doing an exhibit on Nez Perce treaties. It's tough. David, who's Nez Perce enrolled on the Umatilla Reservation, is co-curating with me. We'll see how it goes, but that's going to be a tough one. But it should be fun, and that's going to be June and July.
Why is it tough? Why is it tough, Rich? What's tough about it?
Well, what's tough about it is, the story of treaties is as old as the United States. How much background information do you have to have? How do you tell people today that treaties with Indian nations are still living documents? So how do you tell the historical, and how do you tell what the reason that Nez Perce Fisheries is across the street there is because an 1855 document said that the Nez Perce would be able to fish, hunt, and gather in their usual and accustomed places as long as the grass grew. Okay. So I don't know that many of us think of treaties as living documents, but they are. And that's what distinguishes. And now I think with pandemic, we're hyper aware. We've become hyper aware of issues like race, most recently Asian others, but also we've learned that Indian reservations were hard hit with the pandemic, that Black and brown workers taking care of people and in the service industry were hard hit. So we've learned about all of those things about race, but one of the things that's hard to get around when we start talking Indian stuff is that Indians, of course, were here first. And they have a hold on the land and the place that and they oftentimes get shoved into as a minority group, as a race, whatever. And it's just, so I think that's some of the reasons that it's hard to get around all of this. Okay. It's challenging and it's also exciting. I mean, just a last advertisement here, how things have changed in the 50 years that I've lived here in our knowledge of American Indians and the Nez Perce specifically, our treatment, our understanding, we're not great, but we're sure a hell of a lot better than we were 50 years ago. And I hope, Pearl, that to see you at Tamcalix this summer.
I hope so. I'm telling you.
Pearl always makes, when she can, she makes that journey up to her old hometown of Wallowa.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I think, one of the things, go ahead, Pearl.
No, that's just my summer trip coming back home where I grew up. And Wallowa County is just in my roots. That's why I love this brown bag. I'm back home.
The other things that's occurred to me throughout this pandemic is that, our little Wallowa County here, a couple million acres, is acres and square miles. At any rate, this little place here bordered by Hell's Canyon and the Wallowa Mountains, 7,000 people, maybe at one time it had 9,000, but every big national issue that you can imagine has a little chapter or a footnote here in Wallowa County. I don't know if any of you heard when the anti-Asian rhetoric recently, NPR had a program, and what did they mention? The murder of the 34 Chinese miners in Hell's Canyon, okay?
Yeah.
Pearl's done a couple of great programs with us on the Black community at Maxville. So we had a Black community here, and then we've also examined, we had a Black community here part of that time when I think the exclusion law hadn't been erased yet from the state of Oregon Constitution. So it's, and then of course the Nez Perce story, what some people call the last of the Indian Wars. I did a quick check on Amazon right now. If you Google by subject Nez Perce, you get over 100 books, over 100 books. So we're everything that happens in the world, in the big world out there, including motherhood, right, Aimee, happens right here in Wallowa County. So that's my kind of parting shot for the day. And I want to thank Aimee very much for doing this and for curating the show, and Eileen and others for contributing to the show. This Josephi Center is good as you all make it.
Yeah, thank you, Rich, and thank you, Cheryl. Yeah, for hosting.
You're muted, Cheryl. Cheryl, you're muted.
I'm muted. Ah! Okay. Thank you, Aimee. Thank you, Rich. Thank you, everyone, for the artists that participated and everybody else. And especially thank you, Seroptimus, for making this exhibit possible, as well as all of these programs that we do in support of women's issues, women's art, women's everything. So thank you.
Thank you.
Cheryl.
Thank you.
Next up, April 6th.
April 6th. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, maybe bye-bye.